Hello and welcome everybody back once again to the Init Talks. It's episode 42 and it is interviewee tonight. Me, myself, Mike Nause, interviewed by none other than the Stefy Bau. Stefy, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, Mike. Tonight we've been putting on the spot. I think it didn't work out that we were planned. You were supposed to be the interviewer. We don't have the host, so I jumped in and we're gonna make it all work. It's gonna be very easy, fireside chat, and we're gonna just tell all of you a few information and hopefully getting to know Mike a little more.
Yes, indeed. Get to know myself, the new INIT admin, of course. Such a happy pleasure to be, of course, representing women in esports and representing all of the new and upcoming events that we have. And speaking of upcoming events, Stefy, I don't know, might as well bring it up at the beginning here. Why don't we talk a little bit about the calendar that we have coming up, the Screen to Speed calendar, the 2025 International Women's Day March 8th event is going to be coming up, and it's going to be stock cars at Charlotte. Signups are available. I'll be posting the link here in chat as we speak. And if that is something that interests you, do head on over. Of course, we also have our Team USA Talent Scout event. So this is going to be open to everybody, both males and females alike, and everyone in between, of course. Open on March 29th. That's going to be round one at Sebring, the Team USA qualifiers in the GT3s for iRacing. All of these events are going to be iRacing, and Stefy, they are going to be absolutely awesome.
Yeah, this is so fun. It's the 2025 season. It started, we are just into February, releasing all our calendar. We have very good events for the year. For the Screen to Speed series, this year we are changing things up a little bit. It's going to be more like special events. So instead of doing a complete full-on championship style, we're just doing single special event. And iRacing is promoting them. We are very happy and proud to be partners with them. And we look forward to have a lot of girls, to show up, and compete in those events. And then we have, as you said, the Team USA events. So this is something actually new for some of you. Maybe you don't know this yet, but INIT is kind of like being awarded to be able to create and find the roster for America. So to be able to put up front people to compete in international event, including the Esports Olympics. So this year is a year of scouting. So if you want to have a chance to be able to be selected to represent the United States at the Esports Olympics and international event, you better get busy, because those are the events that we're going to look for you. So those are all based on iRacing, and as you said, Mike, there are going to be two categories, like an open category and a women category, just because it's the spirit of the Olympics, right? It wants to be inclusive. We wanted to have, both opportunities on the table, and everybody can participate. So links are up. They're going to be on the chat. Sign up, have fun, and go Team USA.
Yes, indeed. Go Team USA. And of course, Albert there in chat saying you wish you could have made the qualifiers. Well, this is your chance, Albert. Get on in, get signed up. And a big thank you as well to everyone joining us in the chat. I see we have Mr. Rolling on the Ropes, David Christie, one of my idols, to be completely honest. David, I know I'm putting you on the spot for this one, but somebody that in the motorsport community I can truly call one of my friends, as well as a coworker, colleague, whatever you want to call it. A truly amazing person and a big motivator all the way throughout. Both David and Paul Jeffrey alike are two of the powerhouses that kind of push me along behind the scenes. And David, maybe take it a little seriously in chat.
Well, you know what? It's important. You guys make the show. So I know, David, you, Mike, now being more and more involved with INIT. I mean, without you, it would be boring. We just see cars go around, but you make it fun and interesting. So without you, it will not be the same for sure. So thank you, David. Thank you, everybody that does this to continue to promote sim racing globally and having fun doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's truly an incredible passion to get in sim racing. I know we're going to talk a little bit about it here, how I got into sim racing myself and just how I got into racing as a whole. And I don't know, maybe we could just, I guess, segue over to that now, Stefy, I suppose.
Yes, that sounds perfect. I want to know a little bit more about you. Well, I know, but the public out there wants to know. So, and there are a couple information there that they really, really are dear to me. So Go, Mike.
Yes,
Introduce
indeed.
yourself to the world.
Of course, Stefy, a 3-time motocross champion, sorry, not motocross. What is the series? I want to make sure I get it right. It was motocross?
Motocross.
It was motocross.
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I got it right. So, okay, perfect. 3-time champion. And I started off my career in motocross as well at the age of 3 years old. I used to ride quads and then eventually got into motorcycles. I have some pictures here from when I was younger. This is young Mini Mike, or Mikey, as I used to go by down then. You could see flying around on my little 50 Scrambler that we modified into an 80, and I raced against the big kids. And in 2006, when I was 6 years old, yeah, I'm a 2000s baby, so whatever year it is how old I am. So 6 years old in that, actually 5 years old in that photo, because my birthday is in March, so actually not even 6 yet for the little motorcycle one. That's my 50, my Honda. And then those were some trophies that I had won from quadding and motorcycling, and one of those was bigger than me at the time. So that was always fun to have a comparison, especially when I won that and having a trophy that was larger than myself.
That is so cool. It happens though. Like I have competed. It happens in the US, I have to say. In Europe and like in racing, the trophy are a little bit smaller. They tend to be. But here, I had the same experience. When I came and raced here in the United States, a couple of times I got trophy, and I was already an adult, and they were bigger than me. So it's crazy, but make you feel good for sure. But
Yeah.
Congratulations on your background in motorcycle. That's why we like each other so much, right?
Yes.
We live the same type of life and experiences.
Yep, and eventually I got into a crash on my motorcycle, and that's when I decided that enough was enough. I think Steffi had a similar, although she didn't decide enough was enough, unfortunately. She was rather forced into the matter. But yeah, I decided that after face planting into the dirt, I remember every single second of my crash up until my face hit the ground, and then I only remember waking up. And you know what? That was good for me. That was enough. I found out that was enough for the 4 wheels was better than 2, and then eventually I got into karting, which was even better, because then you get to sit down in a seat rather than have to worry about being thrown off a machine. But even to this day, I didn't include any photos of my current quad, which is, whoops, I should have probably done that. But I can pull one up. Maybe my phone will have one. But yeah, I still ride quads to this day. We go down to the Oregon sand dunes every year, and I make little videos on my drone and with the GoPro. So it's my little side hobby.
Yeah, that's super fun. But there is a lesson there, meaning that you crash, and you can crash 100 times, but the important thing is that you get it back up 101.
Yes.
So you've done that, everybody who's been in sport knows that, and they do that, and then you keep going. So happy to see you continue to have fun with the quads, although I do prefer the 2 wheels than the 4, in the dirt. But it's all good. It's all motorsport. We love it. We are passionate about it. So it's very good. But Mike, tell us a little bit more how you got involved in sim racing. So from real 4 wheels, even though it was motorcycle 4 with a quad, and then go karting, so what about sim?
Yeah, so karting sort of rolled into simulation. So I was around the age of like 15 is when I started getting into karting, and sort of when I started getting out of motocross, because all the tracks around me closed down, so I couldn't really race anymore. That's the unfortunate nature of living in the Pacific Northwest, is motorsport, especially that type, is not the most popular around where I live, and so all the tracks became miles away, and I couldn't go anymore. So I ended up going to karting instead, and because, you can't take the race out of the dude that wants to be a professional racing driver for his entire life. So I went over to karting and then started working at a go-kart track around 18, 19, and teaching a racing school for 8 to 16-year-olds, which was one of the most fun jobs even to this day that I've ever had, even compared to commentary. Started teaching that for a while, got not enough pay, so eventually moved on to construction. But that around that time was 2020, so that's about when I was, like I say, around 2020 when COVID hit and the world shut down. Around 2018-19, I started getting into just racing on a controller with F1 2018. I got it on sale one day, and so started on the SimCady EA title, and then eventually was like, I'm getting pretty good at this, why not get a wheel, because I can't race at my local track anymore because now it's closed down as well. So, because thanks COVID. And then, of course, ended up getting a sim wheel, got a 920, Logitech G920, started racing for a while, eventually upgraded to a Fanatec CSL Elite, the old one with a belt, not the new one, and a Fanatec CS or what is it? Fanatec V2 pedals and V2 wheel as well. So that's my current setup with a Playseat 3, even though I don't race anymore. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into sim racing, and then eventually obviously went on to the commentary side at a certain point. But I was league racing for a long time and still was trying to pursue the dream of becoming a professional racing driver.
It's so fun. Like the beauty, as you say, and you describe it by your experience, is that it is a true pathway, right? Like with sim racing, you can get involved a little bit at a time, like with some equipment and better equipment, and then you get better, and then you can be there and really grind it, like and be behind the wheel and have a lot of fun. The difference, I guess, me too, coming from a real motorsport, is that in real motorsport, you get the potential the track closes or the weather impact your training or your racing, and finance it because it costs a little bit more, like than sim racing. But yet again, now, with the sim racing and all of the evolution that we have in the industry, it is a complete pathway, and you are showing it that you took that, after the in real life experience, and just started to get involved more and more. But in this note, I wanted to show how cool was the what is the name of the guy that won the 500? There is a sim racer, and then he won the Daytona 500 last year, and they won it again this year. That is so good, like from our world, to be able to show it is a complete pathway, to participation. And yeah, I know a lot of you there listening, that they feel the same. And Screen to Speed does exactly that, right? Like we do that for women, like be able to try to find talent and potentially put them into a real team on a real race car. So it's so good to see it validated over and over, and with the winner, the 500,
Yeah, Byron. That was Will Byron.
Byron.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's so. I honestly, I forgot about that completely. That Will Byron. He's such a good driver at this point that I honestly forgot that he had gone from the simulator to real life. And then, of course, as well as for into GT racing with. Why are the names slipping? As soon as we go live, of course, that's when everything slips the brain. But everyone in chat knows who I'm talking about, and we're about to get it lit up. David Christie will definitely point us out. But the most it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, someone here knows exactly what I'm talking about with GT3 racing, getting out on a track. But no, absolutely creating that pathway. And of course, Stefy, you being involved as well with the Stim for STEM movement as well, which personally, like I say, I taught a racing school for 8 to 16-year-olds. I think that what that program is trying to do, getting involved with younger children and younger, especially, being with the Indiana Girl Scouts or Central Indiana Girl Scouts Society, I think currently, but also branching out into more and more, is getting people to drive at younger ages and getting them to learn how to drive, which is the most important in America. I know, barring in Europe, in other countries, public transportation is a little bit more popular, but in America, we're a really big country, and the car is the most important form of transport. And if you've driven on the roads in America, you know that there are some people that maybe need some time behind a simulator. I'll put that, that's the nicest way I think to put it. So getting them involved as early as possible, I mean, that's one of the reasons I pride myself on being a good driver, it's just in my blood.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, again, it's all about creating this pathway and these touch points, like within people's life. And by entering schools, with the Sim for STEM program, not only we get the kids to be behind the wheel of a simulator, so enjoying that, but we use STEM. So we are able to teach mathematics during it. So now we keep having, principal and teachers say, oh my God, I can't believe it. We get the kids to come at school and wanted to do math. And racing, if you're here and listening, is because you have a passion for it. That is all based about mathematics. So like be able to transform that and get the kids to understand it, it's a way to create an open doors, create a pathway, open doors, and show them what real life really is in racing. And using sim, it gets them to do practice more and more. Like you were saying, Mike, if they can spend 2, 3, 4 years before getting behind a real car with a driving license, they're going to be way better off than just trying it right off the bat in a real car.
Yeah, and it's all about muscle memory at the end of the day. And David Christie also bringing up a couple other drivers that went from sim to real life and real life to sim, because we're also seeing that now as well too nowadays, which is just awesome to see. But Ash Sutton from British Touring Cars, Max Verstappen obviously driving in the Formula 1, driving in the various iRacing endurance races, the 24 hours of Daytona, which I even got to commentate on myself, which was super awesome. Big shout out there, Race Spot TV, of course, for putting me on for that one. Daniel Morad is not who I was talking about, but that's a great example, but it's the British dude, who's the British sim racer that went from sim to real life. Still, there's even more. Like I said, there's so many these days that we can't even name them all. Which is absolutely awesome to see. Dave Perella as well. James Baldwin, thank you. James Baldwin, it was on the tip of my tongue.
Yes. But I do have to bring in the girls, though. We always talk about the boys, and sometimes we forget about the girls. And INIT Esports is all about that, to create a safe space and opportunities for women and minority. So on that note, I wanted to bring out the name of Vaiska Visser, that she's part of our dream team. She's a Formula One Academy racer, and now she does all of this competition in sims and is part of our dream team. So I'll just take a second to talk about the dream team, because it's another very great initiative. What we do with the dream team is the fact that we pick from the screen to speed roster, we pick the best driver, and we are putting them together to be the only female team in endurance racing, digital, of course, on iRacing. And the team participated at the Daytona 24-hour, and they got fourth. So one stop off the podium. So it is continuing improving, the even women belongs here, and we continue to push for it. So that's why when we are talking about athlete, I always have to bring out the girls.
Yeah, absolutely. And alongside, of course, Nina Han, Esmeralda, as well as Emma, yes,
Sarah.
was the final. Sarah, yes, excuse me, sorry, yes,
Sarah.
Sarah. Sarah Dove being the final driver there, the 4 drivers for the Screen to Speed Dream Team, and finishing 4th in the Daytona, despite having a couple misfortunes. Of course, if you do want to go back on the previous Init Talks, they talked all about their race after that. I think that was episode 40, if I'm not mistaken, episode 39 or 40. Do go back in the playlist, of course, and check out those episodes for a little more insight, if that is something that interests you, for sure, because it was a absolute hoot of a time, and hearing them talk about it and watching them live as well was quite the experience.
Yeah, it's always good. And I just want to touch base on another thing that we have going on this year, that we didn't put it out in the chat here in the video, but it will be released very soon, which we are creating one event to start, but it's called the INIT Open. So what we do with that one is the same model of Extreme E. So we wanted to have a male and a female create a team and compete in this competition. This is all attached to the idea to continue to feed in the requirement for the Olympics, because they wanted to have countries bring, a different representation to the Olympics. But it's also like a very cool way to continue to create the equity and equality, to be able to have that team dynamic going on. So we can wait for that one too. It's going to be released very soon. We're going to try, hopefully a lot of you are going to sign up and wanted to, if you are a guy, to bring a girlfriend, your mom, your daughter, let's do it. It's all for
Grandma.
fun. It's all about, creating and grow the community and show where sim racing is and that we belong here. So I just wanted to toss this one in there also.
Yeah, absolutely. It was Lindsay James as well that said, Lindsay James being the IndyCar or youngest IndyCar or female VIP or the driver of the year. I'm going off of memory on this one, so I can't remember all of her awards, but the quote is the most important factor, of course, the point that I'm getting to. But it's not, the car does not care whether you're male or female, of course. It only cares whether you hit your braking points, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters in racing. So again, whether you're male or female, do head on over to the signups and get involved, because we have so much going on for absolutely everybody here at Init, Screen to Speed, and various other platforms as well.
Yeah, for sure. And Mike is going to be on the spot. He's going to be the one telling the stories behind the microphone and try to get everybody excited to compete. And I can't wait to see whatever he's going to come up with, because we were talking offline earlier and we were just like, oh, some ideas are going to be super fun. So I can wait for all of you to tune in, watch, and support the series.
Absolutely. It's going to be an absolute hoot of a time. And just all the way around, again, a massive thank you to Stefy in general for taking me under the wing here at Init in general, and just throughout everything here. But it's just been a pleasure. Like I say, going back to the commentary sphere in general, is I never, myself being kind of a more socially awkward kid growing up, I never would have pictured myself in this sort of platform. So even going from, like you had mentioned, being real life, or going from sim to real life in driving, is there's other ways in the world as well, going from sim to real life in commentary. That's of course my goal at the end of the day, from what I never thought would be a thing, again, being the socially awkward kid and eventually trying out commentary because I was a driver in a league at TRACKILICIOUS. Big shout out there to Eric. And of course eventually got just kind of, people liked me, I liked it, and I just kept doing it. I can't even listen to my commentary from over 6 months ago, really, to be completely honest. But you know, it's been a heck of a trip all the way throughout.
I have a question. I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you remember your first time?
My first time, no, but I remember the first time that I thought that this is what I wanted to do. So my first time, I have it, it's jumbled in with all of the other, there's a couple clips from some old commentary that I did, and I had no idea what I was doing. I basically just got into ACC as a spectator, so had no clue what I was looking at, but it was not great. But with the moment that like really caught my, what made me think this is what I want to do as a voice, as a commentator, is working with TRACKILICIOUS for about 5 months, 6 months as a commentator. Eventually Eric kind of reached out to the SRO guys, and along with the AK team, so Steve Proudly, Mike Yao, and them, and introduced me over to them, which I still work with them today, so shout out to them as well. But of course, they put me on for the SRO Community Cup, I think it was at the time, and I was commentating with Joe Peak, and we were on the front page of Twitch, and we had 12,000 viewers at the time, and it wasn't a nervous experience. I didn't feel like the pressure, but I just felt this is what I want to do. When I looked over at that number, it was scary, but I was like, nah, this is it. This is home.
It's so good. Like when you have the chance to follow your passion is the best thing ever. And I always say a lot of time, you know, I ended up doing a speaking engagement and whatnot. And this is one of the things I always say at the end of it, like just follow your passion. If you follow what you really like, you know, like you're just going to continue to get up every day and just don't even feel it, you know, like you just want to do it and then continue to improve the world. And seems like, Mike, you are falling into that rut, and it's good, you know, and I can't wait to build a good future for sim racing with you and everybody out there that believe in this and have the passion for it.
Indeed, no, and for North America as well, because this is a scene that is still in the works, right? Where the European scene's pretty set in stone. The events that are over there have been there for 10 plus years at this point. In North America, really starting to dip its toe in the water in 2025 and being, I think, going to be the year. This is going to be the year that sim racing sort of takes off in America. And I want to be, like I said, I want to be there for it. This is absolutely what I love to do. And in any way possible, of course, we're going to be doing that to push that forward.
That is so good. Like we are trying to put Init in the front from this, you know, thanks to all of the connection that we have within, you know, the different verticals. So can't wait, you know, like to make it all happen. But I do have another question. I know that you live in the Pacific Northwest, and there is a very good friend of mine, Jody, that has Dirtfish up there. So for the one of you that they don't know what Dirtfish is, it's like one of the best school, if not the best school for rally, you know, in the world. So have you gotten a chance to go and do some rally?
I've never had a chance to go there, so I know exactly where they're at. I went to high school literally down the road from them, believe it or not. So I know I'm very familiar with the area. Snoqualmie in general, that's where I just love to hike in that that area is beautiful. I take my drone and fly out there and like to watch the cars sometimes. But no, I've never actually I've never driven any of the cars before from Dirtfish. I saw them when I was down in Sonoma, and I was talking with, I can't remember who it was, but we just, you know, like I said, I was just chatting with them casually. But no, I've never actually had the experience of driving a real life dirt car. So I've been on 4 wheels on dirt, but never in a car.
Well, maybe we can make that different now and then, give
That
you
would
a
be sick.
chance to do it.
I would love nothing more than that. Again, you're talking to a guy who wanted to be a professional racing driver his whole life until eventually
Exactly.
becoming a commentator. And then I was like, I'm better at this than driving. So might as well just dedicate myself to the commentary instead. And that's kind of what I ended up doing.
Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, like I love every kind of racing. Of course, my heart is in the two wheels because that's how I grew up. But like I've been fortunate enough to be involved in this industry, and therefore knowing so many good people, like and working together, and a lot of the names that you put out there, our friends at AK, it's a family. We are all working together, try to make sim racing more and more popular, and everybody has their own kind of like vertical, and if there is a way to help each other, we're always there for each other. So it's a very, very good industry to be involved for sure, and knowing fantastic people. So
Very small family at the top too, which is what I've come to learn from the years. Is you start talking with one person, and then you were talking with this person, and say, "Oh, I'll put you in touch with you." Wait, well, I already know, huh? Everybody knows everybody. It seems like, and it's really cool to see at the end of the day. And it's very small, like you say, kind of a tight knit family at the top in terms of, especially, I mean, the esports in general. But like you say, always willing to help out.
for sure, for sure. Do we have any question that comes in the chat?
I haven't
I
seen
don't
too
see
many
the
yet. I don't
chat,
think
so
we haven't posted. But yeah, if you guys do have any questions, do let us know. I know Albert here chatting along saying that he wanted to go to Dirtfish as well at some point in time. He's a WRC fan. I absolutely love or competing for WRs. Oh yes, for Dirt Rally. My apologies. Yes, Dirt Rally 2.0 is super fun game. That was one of the first simulators that I got on with a wheel. So just yeah, like I say, if I could get out there on Dirtfish and actually go throw a little sedan around a dirt track, that's just, what else would you want to do on any day? I don't care when. Do it right now. I'll go right now. No.
let's go. No, but you brought up a good point about like the Dirt Rally 2 or the WRC game. So we have not done anything with that yet, but maybe in the future, we're gonna have to put out on our Discord and maybe a little bit of a call to action and see who wants to do a rally, and maybe we can just get involved with that, and maybe just maybe, with the spirit of Screen to Speed, we can do an event and then have the winner to go at Dirtfish.
Indeed. So we do have a question
So
here
that, yeah.
from David Christie. Sorry to cut you off there, Steffi, but David Christie is, so what can we do, obviously with the along with the Screen to Speed movement and everything like that, but what can you guys do to foster and encourage more females into sim racing?
Well, I answer and then you can answer, Mike. From my side, it's like we are creating the movement, and we have quite a bit of people now sign up, and be part of our community. The community live on our Discord. We really need to pay attention to make it a safe space. So like when the girls is in, actually, we have a safe area where it's just girls only, like where they can communicate and be in touch and share their experiences. So we just have to continue to do events, like put the word out. Now the fact that we are bringing the Sim for STEM program in schools, hopefully we stimulate, the young kids, because when they're young, they don't think about anything different, right? Like they see the school like, oh, I want to do it. And also, for us, what we really see that is very effective is that they will lead with women. So, like every time we do events, it's for women by women, and it makes a tons of a difference. So we are open, to help anybody, that they wanted to get involved or to create events. We did it as a movement because that's what we want to try to do, like to really continue to grow, this community and get them the opportunity to enter the motorsport world as a whole. Like last year we put a couple girls into an internship program in Coda, for instance, like just because I come from the motorsport world, part of my team come from the motorsport world, so we have all of this kind of connection, right? And then we have actually with the Sim for STEM program, we got a couple girls that ended up to go university, like in Indiana, for motorsport engineering. So they work. We just have to continue to tell people, like, and say, hey, if you want to try to get your feet wet into this industry, there is a space for you, which is called Screen to Speed, Sim for STEM, they are all under the INIT umbrella. and just sign up and have fun.
And I think you really hit it on the head there. And along with the community element, we're trying to build, I put it quotes, I don't know why I put quotes, it's a community, it is a community, there's no quotes around that. But around the community element here, of course, that we're trying to build is, harboring a very solid roster of female drivers that we already have. And of course, branching out from there, using them, I don't want to say using, again, you got to pick the words carefully, of course, but having them sort of be more role models at the end of the day, right? Kind of like Nina Hahn, for example, is a great driver to look up to. Victoria Thomas, other drivers, Esmeralda, all the way throughout. These are some very, very nice people to look up to as for younger drivers. But on top of that, of course, building a community in which that we can have them have their friends reach out, right? And they can message their friends and say, hey, you're a great driver. Why don't we get involved here as well? And sort of develop a little bit more along those lines. And that, of course, comes along with building a more in-depth community, which is part of me coming on to Init. What I've been trying to do here is make that Discord a little bit more community-like, make it a little more friendly, and bringing on some moderators as well with that, and trying to just keep everything, like I say, more in wraps, more in tunes, and also just better information spread, and some updated rules coming soon as well. Of course, I know that was one of the complaints that some of the drivers have had, but we are, of course, addressing that for all the various different championships that we have coming up, some new rules as well.
Well, it takes a village, and we'll take all the help we can get,
Yes.
but the foundation is there, and it's good that we see the growth, and with all of this other, as I say earlier, touch point, from the people that they never heard about sim racing, that they might get exposed with sim for STEM in schools, to who is fan of the sport, they say, hey, I want to try this, it might be good. We have the screen to speed movement. Then we have the opportunity to open the doors, for the industry as a whole. But also this, what we are doing today, the Init Talks. So that was an idea that came up to continue to show, faces of the industry and give a space to be seen, because the key is really, if you can see her, you can be her. So for us, it's incredibly important to put out individual that can be a role model, because you never know who you're going to inspire. And we run this with positivity and inclusivity. So it's very important to us to continue to do this Init Talk. And don't be shy. If you want to be on one of them, just reach out. We always have opportunity to do it. And we're going to find the right spot for you to come and tell your story. One last thing about the Init Talks that is very cool. We gather the attention also to from motoring podcast, I think is the name, our friend Eric. So every talks now becomes a podcast. So you don't have to watch it live, when it happens. You don't have to watch it necessarily just on YouTube. You can even listen to it when you're driving your car and going to work. So it's all like a little things that we are continuing to put in place to be able to show the reality is here, women in sim racing is here. But not just women too, like we were saying earlier, because we took on the project for foster talent for the Team USA. Now it's going to be also the guys, to coming in and be involved. So altogether it takes a village, but we can do this.
Yeah, and that's even, sort of why I've, come onto the podcast as the first male guest as well, right? As being
Yes.
an honor, a nice honor, a privilege for that to be the case. Of course, more to come in the future. So again, if you are looking to get involved, reach out to either myself, Sophie, Steffi, anyone here, of course, will be able to point you in the right direction for that, getting on to the talks. And yeah, it's absolutely awesome what we're going to be building here in the future. And I, again, am so honored to be a part of it. And I genuinely cannot wait to see what the next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months is going to hold, because it's going to be, I think, a nice boom year.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting, and it's nice to have had a vision, and then I've surrounded myself with incredible people and continue to build something that is very meaningful. And so far, seems like we are right in doing it in this way, because even with the Sim for STEM program, we got picked up by NBC News. Oh my God, having a sim racing event going on NBC News. I think that's a pretty good mark that we can put, on our belt, I would say. So, little by little, again, we are all a family. It's all about building and not dividing. So, all together, we can definitely make a big change. And, have fun doing it.
Indeed. And, and down to it as well, I keep wanting to bring this up and it keeps slipping my mind, but you mentioned it just briefly, or not briefly, but the fact that, of course, we have more than just driver spots available, right? Just because you are a woman trying to get involved in motorsports doesn't mean that you need to become a driver, right? You can become engineers, you can become a commentator as well. Of course, there are other routes available, broadcasting, behind the scenes, organization, you name it. There are so many crucial women in motorsports already. I mean, go look at Susie Wolf and what she's doing, managing everything with F1 Academy and everything along those lines as well. Of course, just some incredible figures out there to look up to.
Yeah, but not only that, actually, we through Init Talk in our community, we are able to really create even job opportunities. And that's another thing, it's not just like, oh, yes, this is cool, like actually we can create job opportunity for women to get involved. So that's another very cool thing, like all of this together, like we can come up and have ways to show how beautiful this industry is in real life and digitally, and give a chance to everybody to be part of it.
Absolutely. It is a truly incredible world. And as often people say, the bug of motorsports, it exists. It's real. Once you catch it, it's really hard to get rid of it. And I know, Stefy, you've been involved your whole life, which honestly, speaking of, have you ever been on an Init Talk before? That's one thing I actually don't know if I've ever seen.
I don't even remember. I think I did maybe the very first one, just because, of course, I wear different hats in the company because we are still a startup. So, like, we just said, let's do one. And like, okay, I'm in, kind of like tonight, they had to cover for the little mishap that we had. But we are here, we are having a blast, and always happy to help the team, that we are creating. So this has been super fun, and I love it.
Indeed, so I wanted to ask you then, if that's the case, then we got to get a little bit more about Stefy, right? We got a little bit learn more about you. Obviously, I know that you had your motocross career, but how did you get involved? I know you got involved at a very, very young age with motorcycles, but why don't you tell everybody else a little bit more about that?
Yes, so just like you, I started racing very young. So I was 4 years old when I asked my mom and dad to buy me a dirt bike. And probably you have heard that I have an accent. So I was born in Italy. And, at my time, a little girl wanted to race motorcycle. It was a big no-no for everybody. So the entire family was against my mom and dad. But they always, let me do whatever I wanted to do, and they always supported. Again, it goes back to the concept of the passion that we were saying. And they bought me the motorcycle. And then, 2 years later, when I was 6, so my dad, it's a very fun story, because my dad, at that time, I bought a dirt bike for himself, and then he decided to go and do a trail riding. So he was in the woods, he went to trail riding, and then all of a sudden he saw that there was a small racetrack where kids were riding in there, not racing, riding in there with the supervision of the parents. So he immediately comes home and is like, "Oh, you have no idea what I just discovered. Get ready, get dressed, and let's go." And here I am, I still remember like it was yesterday, following my father, through this trail just to go to this small little track. There was about like 5-6 miles away from the house. And my dad say, "Go in there, you see, is a track, like just follow it and have fun." In about 1 hour time, I was the fastest one in the track. So all of the parents of these other kiddos, they came to my father and said, what are you guys coming from? And my dad said, "Well, we live 5 miles down the field over that way." And then my parents didn't know about racing. The only concept that they had was like, go watch the World Championship when it was coming to Italy. World Championship has rounds, around the world. And the time they were coming to Italy, they were going watching. They were just fan of the sport. So they had no idea that they were racing for kids. But, through that experience, of course, we go back home, we ask mom, "Hey, can we go racing?" And mom like, "Oh, I don't know. Well, okay, let's try." Moral of the story, the first race I did in my life, I finished third with all the little boys. I was the only little girl. And then that year, I won every races we entered. So then it was like bringing on trophy upon trophy. So that's what I wanted to do in life. And I have to say, though, I've been incredibly lucky to have two parents that helped me, and support me to do this. So that's kind of like my story on the two wheels. And then You probably, if you ever did any kind of racing, you'll know once you're in it, you can't get out. That's how I'm doing it with my life. I'm being involved since when I was very little, and I consider myself very fortunate and lucky to be able to do what I want in life and meet wonderful people around the way.
That is such an incredible story to hear. What was it at the point that obviously there had to be a point that you thought that you were going to become professional, but there was going to be a point that you started to become professional. What was that like? What was that feeling, and sort of how did that come into culmination?
Okay, so we go down a very slippery slope here that if there is over here somebody that has been a professional athlete at a young age, they will relate to what I'm about to say. So what happened, the big turning point was actually when the team I was racing for, wanted to have more control on what I was going to be doing for the team than my parents. And that's the time, the switch, so that everybody, me included, considered, wait a second, I can really be professional at this. So that's kind of like was the turning point. It was not a happy time at the moment when the whole thing started to happen, simply because when you have your parents, do all the sacrifices to be able to push their kids to do whatever they want in life, and then kind of like needed to take a step back, it's not easy, but
Let the
every
bird out of the
professional
nest,
athlete,
sort of.
yes, at a very young age, people that been athletes professional at a young age has to go through this, but that was the moment, really the turning point. To me, it happened when I was 17 years old, that I started to get very good attention, from my skills and my results. And then was the time that there need to happen that kind of separation. So it's not more like a fun thing that you go and do with your family. Now it's more like you're going to do this for a living and you're gonna make money out of it.
Yeah,
So
and
that was the turning.
yeah. Did that take away the fun, or did that add to the fun?
No, no. I think it I mean, again, for me, it was a young age. So, like 17, you're a teenager, so there is a lot of things happening at that time in your life. So a lot of time was fun, a lot of time was not, simply because sometimes, I saw my schoolmate go and have fun during the weekend and I was going racing. Not that I did not want to go racing, but it was always like, oh, but my friends are having fun, like doing this, and I'm gonna go racing. But like again, racing always won over, as my result proven, and I would not do anything different, if I had to do it once again.
Yeah, for me, I was fortunate enough. I mean, obviously, I never went into the professional sphere myself when it comes to the motorsport. I kind of had to bow out at a certain point. But yeah, having your parents push you along. And for me, it was not just my parents. Still very fortunate, of course, to have them even supporting me to this day, both my mom and my dad. But my uncle Jim as well, of course, he's the one that bought me my first quad at the age of 3 and just showed up one day in my driveway with it. They didn't tell me about it. They surprised me. And I got on it for the first time and then cried my eyes out when they told me that I had to get off. So, I mean, it's just it's a crazy world, and especially when you get into the, like you say, the professional scene. And now for myself, I guess relating more to the professional commentary side of things, is it's a surreal feeling when you have start to kind of make your way into it and you start making money doing the thing that you actually enjoy doing, which is, it feels good, right?
Yeah, for sure. But also, I want to say that not everybody is as lucky as us to have parents, that can support, like, and push, like that. So what I would like to say is like, don't give up, because even though like there is a lot of things that could be potentially stacked against you, don't give up, follow your passion, because there is other people out there that have your same passion. So even if you might not have a family supporting you, just keep going, find your people, and you're gonna find a way through it, because in racing it's all a big family. So don't be scared, don't be shy, just keep going and push for what you love. And it's a good thing, it's a good family here.
It is. We're a bunch of crazy people and we love what we do. So, it's at the end of the day, none of us are really, I think, sane. Like I say at the end, we're speed demons. We're all enjoying an absolute crazy sport, and we're all having a great time doing it. So why not have it, like I say, have fun with each other and not take it as seriously as a lot of people do, because that can be it. But yeah, don't give up. That's the biggest thing, of course. Do not give up for your dreams. If you have a dream, stick with it. get through it and try to find any way that you can push through. As long as you work hard enough, you can really make anything happen. And especially with the outlets that we have today, with the internet developing and with the amount of resources that are out there now, Screen to Speed, for example, Stim for STEM, they're two perfect examples of ways forward in this sort of sphere, this little microsphere of the world.
Yeah, for sure. And then back on the comment on try to continue to involve as many category of racing as possible. We forgot to say, so I'm going to say here, we're going to be doing a drifting event. So we have never done this before. We're going to work with our very good friend at the ESDA. And I can't wait to see what is going to come out of that. We have put this in our Discord. We're going to have a bunch of the girls trying it out. Again, for the sense of the community, we're saying we already find coaches. They want to teach the girls, how to do drifting. So that is going to be a fun one. I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be incredible for myself. Even just went to the Formula Drift event that happened here in Seattle, so that was super cool. The tire smoke, the sound, the noise, the racing, which is such a different form of motorsport from what you or I, Steffi, are used to for the most part. Obviously, from two wheels especially, you cannot really even compare it, even on four wheels. It is a noisy, it's very flashy and a pretty awesome sport all the way around.
Yeah, for sure. And I have my very good friend Z. She is one of the best at this, and I can't wait to tell her and see if she can come in the digital version and maybe teach her things so too. So I mean, it's just exciting, but it get to show you once more that everything is together. It doesn't matter if you like Formula One or you like NASCAR or you like GT cars or drifting cars. The beauty of it is it's transferable in a way that we are all together here and try to have a passion and feed it.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's all just hitting a pedal and a brake and turning a wheel. It's just a matter of what type of wheel you're turning, what type of brake you're hitting, how hard you're hitting it, and how quickly you're getting on the throttle. All the way around, the basics, they transfer, and that's, again, why we go looping all the way back around to getting people involved very early, which I am so passionate with. Get your kids driving, get them into karting, get them into sim racing. That's why I always tell parents, especially at events, when they're thinking, oh, do I want to let my kid try the simulator? Yes. The reason you don't is because they're going to like it. That's why you don't want to spend the money on it. No, get them involved. It is such a fun and just all the way around a way of life now, especially again in this modern world and how big racing is getting with Formula One, with GT, with Motorsport, with every single sport growing and growing and growing. It is such a amazing world that we live in, and to be in this small little world as it is, again, get involved.
Yeah, for sure. And also another thing I wanted to touch base on is if you ever need any equipment, reach out, because we are a reseller to all the major brands, in the world. So if you need equipment, just ask, and if we can pass along savings to you, we will do it. So it's every little thing help. So if you need product, just come over and we can help you on that.
Indeed.
As well.
And some other potential setup chances, Steffi, that are in the wings as well. I don't know if we can talk about that.
Well, we do have one thing that I can kind of mention right now. It is the fact that we are working very hard with this very good friend of mine. His name is Nico, that has made, is in the way of processing the most stimulation, super fun motocross game. And to me that comes right here. It's called Motocross the Game, and he's working through it. It's so cool. It's gonna be ready for the public on this fall. And then watch this space, because we're going to start to make a very good motocross events with that game.
I cannot wait to see that again. Back to my grass roots for that, or my dirt roots, I guess I should say at the end of the day. But Steffi, it looks like we're getting kind of close here on the time. I mean, is there anything else that we would like to bring up here at the end to wrap up? Any questions in chat here before we do kind of get down to the conclusion? It's been a very nice chat.
Yeah, I love it. I think we need to talk a little bit more about you. You are supposed to be the interviewed.
Fair. That's fair. I think
so everybody can shoot some question for Mike in the
Yeah,
chat.
please do. I covered all of the talking points that I had in my notes here. So for anything else that you guys would like to know, I guess I didn't cover any hobbies or anything, I guess. So like I said, I briefly did. I'm into some filmography and some other stuff when it comes to drones. I love flying drones, getting an FPV drone soon, so that'll be sick. Got a couple GoPros. I like to film some, like I say, POV shots with my quad, with cars, and just all the way around. Like I said, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to that sort of thing. I love hiking, like I like long walks in the woods, I guess would be the way to look at that. And I like the snow. Growing up in the Pacific Northwest, we get a lot of that in the mountains, so it's nice. Yeah, I enjoy hiking. I just hiked up Mount Si not too long ago and fed some birds up at the summit. That was awesome. Flew the drone up there, and all the way around, like I say, just kind of, oh, here we go. We do have a question. Okay. This is no comments. Thank you, I guess. Not sure that's much of a question. But no, honestly, like I say, I'm just kind of a guy, you know. A guy that likes motorsports. At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I just love racing. I love watching racing. My buddy's been getting me into anime recently, so that's a thing that's happened, you know. When it comes down, I'm still not like into it, so calm down, chat. Calm down before anybody starts bringing that stuff up. We're definitely not quite deep into it just yet. But yeah, I don't know. That's trying to think if there's anything else very interesting, I guess, about myself. Nothing comes to mind. No, I don't know. Chat, not either. No questions in chat either. So I think, I don't know. Anything else, Stefy?
No, I think we're ready to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for being, you know, in this Init Talk. You know, it's always a pleasure if I get the chance, you know, like to show my face and talk with everybody. So, but again, take away, you know, for me, it's always like follow your passion, you know, just reach out if you need anything, you know, like, and let's keep doing this. It's fun.
Yes, absolutely. This is, we're going to be here for a long time, folks, so we're not going to be going anywhere. And on that note, I hope everybody has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.